Now, whether you like cardio or hate cardio, it's at least very important to know the knowledge aspect about how cardio can really help you when it comes to burning more body fat and living a healthier lifestyle. So let's dive into that today. There are plenty of different forms of cardio between your low intensity steady state cardio, your moderate intensity steady state, or your high interval training cardio. There's so many different forms, and we're going to be talking about that in a little bit. But first and foremost, let's talk about the importance of cardio, and how it's beneficial not only for just your overall heart, for weight loss, for different functions throughout the body. It is important to make sure that you fit it into your lifestyle, whether you're fitting into your training routine or whether you're just doing some easy techniques around the course of the day to help you, hit those cardio goals, to help you with your progress as well. And I'm going to be sharing with you guys some tips here at the very end, so make sure you stay tuned for that. So back to the different styles of cardio. You have your LISS, which stands for your low intensity steady state cardio. Think of this as just going through a nice little walk, right? Your heart rate is very, very low. It's very easy to recover. Now, obviously, it takes a longer time. Let's just say, if you're going to burn 300 calories, it's going to take a longer time walking to burn 300 calories than, let's just say, running or doing the elliptical or even swimming in those aspects. But once again, there's pros and cons to everything in life, including your low intensity steady state cardio. I'm a big fan of LISS, and I'll explain that at the very end. Next up, we have MISS, right, which is your moderate intensity steady state cardio. Think of this as going for a jog or hitting the stair climber or the elliptical at the gym, or even things like swimming. So you're in that heart rate zone of, being pretty intense, but not very, too intensive, so to speak. But at the same time, it's obviously a lot harder, right? Taxing on the body, and, it requires more energy output than, let's say, doing something like walking. So once again, there's pros and cons. It's going to take a shorter time frame to, let's say, burn 300 calories and, by swimming or running, as opposed to, let's just say, walking, for example. But once again, you guys are going to find out here at the very end how this all applies to your lifestyle and how to make it fit in the best way possible to not only see results, but most importantly, have long-term success. And lastly, HIIT, which stands for high intensity interval training. This could be just whatever you can at maximum outburst of energy. So sprints, burpees, high jumps, different things of that nature. And typically you're doing these exercises for anywhere from, let's say, 15 to 25, maybe even 30 seconds, just all out, right? As hard as you can. And then you're taking a full rest interval until you're fully recovered. That could be, once again, 15, 20, 25, 30 seconds until you're fully recovered, and then back to it again. So typically, like if I was going to do a HIIT session, I would personally choose for sprints and just go all out, right? As fast as I can, as hard as I can, for maybe 10, 15, 20 seconds, and then calm down, let my heart rate calm down, right? Catch my breath until I'm fully 100% recovered, and then boom, do it again, right? So that would be considered like a HIIT session. Now, you're going to be burning the most amount of calories doing a HIIT session compared to, let's say, your moderate intensity steady state cardio or the LISS, like the walking, But at the same time, it's harder for your body to recover, It's going to be using lots of energy, and that recovery is a big aspect that we're going to be talking about here in a little bit. But nonetheless, when it comes down to cardio, this is what I really want you guys to fully understand, because at Heartletics, we always like to apply the simple fact that, hey, it's not just the science of burning body fat, it's most importantly your lifestyle and what works best for you in form of creating habits. And typically what works the best for our members is NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. I talk about this all the time. NEAT is actually a great way to also improve your metabolic rate to help you speed up your metabolism. But you just have to understand this. When it comes to cardio, there's plenty of ways to skin a cat. It's what works best for you, your lifestyle, your schedule, and what you can recover at. What's something that you enjoy doing? These are one of the things that I feel like so many research studies lack, is the fact that the overall lifestyle and the recovery aspect. So for example, let's just use, LISS versus HIIT. So obviously with the HIIT training, you're burning way more calories, right? It's going to keep you even more into calorie deficits. You're going to probably, see better results for the short period of time. But at the same time, as you get into your 40s, your 50s, your 60s, how often you can continue running your sprints, doing your burpees, those types of things. It's kind of like slow and steady wins the race here. And that's what we like to teach our members. So having something like lists, just, hey, here's a step goal, right, that you can do each and every day, or something that's convenient for you, and then educating them on that is what's going to help them out in the overall grand scheme of things. And I want you to keep that in mind as well. Because at the end of the day, if someone was going to tell me, hey, Joe, HIIT, interval training is the best thing in the world for you. It's kind of like diets, right? Cardio and diets are pretty much the same thing, in my opinion, as far as everybody has their 2 cents, right? Somebody can tell you, hey, cut out carbs is the best thing in the world. Go ahead, cut out your carbs, right? You're going to lose weight instantly. But at the end of the day, just because you can do something for a short period of time doesn't mean it can work good long term. So remember, anybody can run sprints for a short period of time, but weeks and weeks, years and months down the road, it's going to be a little bit overkill on them. It's going to be a little bit too taxing. And then at the end of the day, it's just like, hey, maybe it would have been better if we would have started off with doing something a little bit more sustainable from the front end. You guys can also do your own research and kind of look up things. I mean, when I got my certifications, we learned all about the fat burning zone, right? And so not getting your body to a certain heart rate, right? And keeping it in that prime where you're active, but you're not super, engaging in the, energy levels, is going to help you burn more body fat. Once again, your energy sources here are going to be coming your carbs or your fats. And it's how you utilize them to burn body fat, or, if you're doing resistance training or like the high energy outputs like your HIIT training, you're going to be using more glycogen, right? You're going to be using more carbohydrate-based energy from there. And there's nothing wrong, right? Pros and cons to both of them regardless. But I don't want you to get stuck into thinking, what is the best thing to do? And what does it says by the science? What does it says by the books? Because if you look at the overall scheme of this, okay, and this is what I really want you to understand, what I'm trying to, talk about in today's episode, all about cardio. It's not what is the best thing for you that going to give you the fat loss results that you want right now. It's what's going to be the best thing for you for your overall lifestyle. And you have to take a look into a bunch of things, just like creating a workout regimen for yourself. Hey, what do you enjoy doing? What suits your schedule the best? And how can you recover? If let's say, HIIT training is the best thing in the world and you can crush it with the sprints and the burpees, and you're going to see great results for the short period of time, but then after a few short weeks, you're not recovering properly. Now your sleep is horrible. You have higher amounts of cortisol because you're not recovering properly. And now it's also lacking in your resistance training. Remember, strength training, hitting the weights, focusing on that progressive overload is way better than cardio when it comes to speeding up somebody's metabolic rates. So you have to just take this with a grain of salt, understanding that yes, just because something is good for you and, can get you great results right now, you once again have to look at the overall scheme of things, right? The bird's eye view, as they say. Look at it in terms of that. So what works best for your schedule? Typically with the members that we coach, some of them have bad knees, injuries, different things like that, but also convenience factor where, they can't commit to, I'm going to, do 4 or 5 different cardio sessions, per week. So what we like to just give them is a neat step goal, right? And that could be just something as, hey, throughout the course of the day, it doesn't have to be in a time frame of 30 minutes or an hour, just the overall course of the day. Try your best to get in, let's say, around 10,000 steps a day. And simple things like just being more aware. Let's say if you're very sedentary, right? You sit down at a desk all day, being more aware to just, hey, it's been an hour. I should probably get up and go for a walk around the office. Or park farther away at the parking lot, to the, your office doors. Take the stairs rather than the escalator and the, elevator. If you're going to the grocery store, hey, park farther away. Different things like that. But overall with Heartletics is once again getting your lifestyle incorporated into being more health and fitness, aware. So think about it. Like if I was going to grab my 4-year-old son and say, hey, let's go for a walk, he's going to be more inclined to doing that than, hey, let's go do some burpees, or hey, let's go do some sprints, right? I don't think any little kid wants to go ahead and do those. I sure don't. And so when it comes to the overall scheme, once again, of cardio, yes, there's pros and cons, right? The low intensity steady state cardio, also known as NEAT, there's pros and cons to that compared to, let's say, HIIT, high intensity interval training. But don't worry about what it says by the books. Go about what works best for your lifestyle. When it comes down to cardio, if you can get anywhere from, let's say, 100 minutes to maybe 150 or, 175, 180, I don't see you needing a lot more than, let's say, 200 minutes per week of cardio, then yeah, just fit it in however you can. Break it up however you want, whatever best suits your lifestyle. But what we typically coach and teach our members on is just focus on that daily step goal, something where you're more aware of the fact like, hey, you shouldn't be sitting down so much. You shouldn't be so sedentary. That's bad for your back, right? That's bad for the fact that you're going to be tired all throughout the course of the day. And it's just, hey, why don't we just get up, move a little bit more? Yes, it's going to help us burn more body fat, but also it's going to give us more energy. It's going to be a lot more easier in the long scheme of things as far as, weight loss goals and, being, recovering properly. It's just literally all about what boils down to what best suits you, what you enjoy doing, how can you recover, and your overall schedule with your lifestyle. So with that being said, remember this final part here too, is that cardio is just a tool to stay within a calorie deficit. Remember, your metabolism and how to speed that up, that's going to require, obviously your nutrition. So focusing on hitting your protein goal. That's going to focus on, the resistance training, different things like that. If you can focus on that prime and then the cardio right afterwards, you're going to be in a good sweet spot where at the end of the day, as long as you're consistent, you're going to continue to see results over and over again. And most importantly, you're going to learn how to make this fit in best with your overall lifestyle.